Alright, first of all, we're going to talk about norms. Whenever you're doing a class that's not in the public school system, there's not a code of conduct that you guys took home to sign, so we have to agree upon things amongst ourselves as adults. So, keep your cell phones off, put on silent, please. For the smaller group, it's not a big deal, but when you get into a bigger group, it becomes a really big deal. Try not to have side conversations if you can avoid it. And if you have a question, I have these cards in the middle of the table. If you guys want to grab one just in case. I want your questions because when it comes to teaching how to teach, this is something I do every day. And I might forget to tell you something. So if you have a question, please ask. And respect other people. If somebody asks a question that sounds stupid, maybe they need to know the answer. So we'll be nice to them about it, even if it does sound stupid. And now we're going to do an activity. Are you excited? I'm excited. Okay. There are 6 of you, so I want you to pair up with somebody that you don't talk to every day. Can you do that? Pair up with somebody you don't talk to every day. And I want you to write down, between the 2 of you, I want one of you to write down at least 6 things that you have in common. At least 6 things that you have in common.
We are both programmers. We're both Southern. We both like Jeeps. That was my call. And we both like traveling.
Sounds good.
Found out that we're both American.
Awesome.
We like to smile.
Good.
We both talk softly, as you can
Nice.
tell. We like computers. I'll let you take the rest.
We decided to go with nice people.
Okay.
I don't know what I wrote there.
Oh, we have 3 names.
Oh, we both have 3 names.
First, middle, and last.
Very good.
We both have facial hair. We both wear glasses. Let's see. We're both out of shape.
I didn't think about that one.
He owns a computer store. I own the computer store.
Nice.
And what's the last one down? Oh, we both have bad handwriting. We both have bad handwriting, which I couldn't read.
It's like you guys are twins.
This activity is a fun activity because it allows you to meet somebody that you haven't talked to before, but it also allows you to see that you have something in common with everybody in the room. Even if it was something that maybe you didn't write down, maybe you might have heard somebody else say it and say, oh, I do that too. Everybody's computers though.
Yeah.
We need to work on that. It's very good. Very good. All right, today's goals. What we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about proper planning, capturing attention, keeping it. You have to make your point. You have to check for understanding as you go. You have to gracefully exit, and we have to learn how to deal with several different things, so we'll talk about those when we get to them. Something that adults forget about when they're about to teach a lesson, especially if you don't teach every day, you forget to plan. And it sounds silly, but I know that you know what you're about to teach me. You guys are going to teach me lots of things maybe. And just because you know it doesn't mean you're ready to teach it. You think you are until you start to teach it, and then you realize that you don't have that logical progression of stuff ready. So pre-planning is super important. A lot of people will suggest to you to make a lesson plan, and you'll laugh at the idea until the first time you screw up, and then you're going to wish you had something in front of you that said, oh, what am I doing next? So that's a good idea to have and outline that logical progression. Have your materials. One of the things that you write on a lesson plan, and I'm going to give you guys an example of a lesson plan, but one of the things that you're going to write on it is what your materials are. And the first time that you go to a presentation and you don't have a clicker or you don't have a marker that you're supposed to write with. I got here today and realized, oh man, I forgot index cards, so I was lucky that there were some here at the clubhouse. But make sure that you have the materials available. Practice your lesson. Today I taught this exact same lesson to a study hall group. It wasn't wasting their time and it helped me a lot. And if you don't have anybody to practice for, or if you feel stupid practicing for somebody, practice for a video camera and then watch yourself, and it'll be painful. But it helps you realize either that you talk too fast or that you say like too much. I say like a lot. Like a lot. Okay. Teaching is the highest form of understanding, and you'll learn this when you start to plan. When you have to teach something, you don't realize everything, all of the deep things that you know about that subject until you have to break them down for somebody else. And so you actually end up learning something better because you're having to teach it. So if you haven't had an opportunity to teach to someone, find it, make it happen, because it's really worth it. You have to know your audience. Some of you guys I got to talk to before the class, even if I just met you today, but at least know their background in general, or know the purpose of their being at your class. If you have that, then you can capture more attention. If you speak the way they speak, it's better. When I'm teaching in front of my students, I don't sound like this. I have a completely different voice. And they've told me that after school, when they see me at Walmart or something, why are you talking like that? Because it's a completely different person. You almost have to act. You almost have to act to keep their attention. And use appropriate terminology. I teach mathematics. I use big words in my classes, and sometimes it's tempting to break those big words into smaller words just for the sake of talking, but that doesn't encourage them to learn those words. Attention spans are short, especially when you teach children or teenagers. Adults will pay attention, and they'll make themselves pay attention because you're here because there's something you wanted to know, and so you're grown up enough to know that. But especially with kids, attention spans are short. So if ahead of time you tell people what you're going to learn, you guys know that the last thing I'm going to talk about is what we're going to be dealing with, or how to deal with specific things, because I listed that for you. So you know when the end is coming, and I'm almost done wasting your time. So have a game plan, give them that game plan. It's good for them. Be happy. Even if you're nervous, even if you've never done it before, even if you screw up, be enthusiastic, be exciting. Do stupid things, stand on top of a chair if they're getting bored, and keep their attention. Make them wonder what you're going to do next. And let them know why they should care about what you're teaching. If they don't have a personal investment or an emotional investment, or if they can't see a future for this thing that you're teaching them, they're not going to listen. They're not going to retain the knowledge. So let them know up front why they should care. A good teacher, like a good entertainer, has to hold their audience's attention, and then they can teach. I'm competing with Xbox. I'm competing with iPods that they're hiding in their pockets trying to play games. You know, I'm competing with lots of things in my classroom. I'm competing with you guys so that you don't want to answer your text messages and your cell phone calls. I have to entertain you better than the rest of the world can. And I have to keep your attention. We've already talked about having a plan, and I'm going to repeat that over and over again because I want to call him out, but Chris just started working with kids with the robotics team a couple of years ago. And he comes in and he's like, yeah, I'm ready to build a robot. Been doing this for 10 years. And he realizes these kids know nothing. And he has to have a plan of action, how to teach that. So it's super, super important. Start off with relevant definitions. If you're going to use big words, tell them what the big words mean. If I tell you what a lesson plan is and you've never seen one, it helps me to know that I've got a handout here that's going to show you what it looks like and how you can use it. Plan a natural progression of thoughts and think through possible questions. If you're going through a good lesson plan, you're going to imagine yourself seeing it and imagine yourself speaking through this, this thing that you do all the time that you're teaching somebody new how to do. And you're going to think through questions that they might have. Try to look at it from their perspective. Try to look at it at the perspective of somebody who has only had algebra and you're trying to teach them calculus. What are they going to ask you as you're teaching them? And keep moving. Don't just stop. Tell your story. Tell the whole story. Beginning, middle, end. And when you get to the end, it's over. Don't keep going just because you like to hear your voice. I love you guys, but it doesn't sound that pretty. Just stop when you're done. And don't chase rabbits. If you have somebody that you can use for an example, or if you have a life story you can use for an example, use it and be finished with it and move on. Transition smoothly, and that's going to be, actually that's the hardest part when you first teach something for the first time. It just feels awkward, but as soon as you've figured out how to teach it, if I've taught this class 5 times, I know how to teach it next time because I know what I've done before and it feels more natural for me. Use visuals, like smiley faces. Use things that people can see. A lot of kids especially, and I want to see kids and teenagers and young adults in this clubhouse, and if we can get that to happen, we're going to need them to see things that are exciting to look at and exciting, you know, to keep their memories. And we're going to play a game now. Are we still paired up? Good, we still have pairs possible. Find a buddy and stand somewhere in the room. Look at your buddy real quick. Say, hey, how are you? All that good stuff. And now turn back to back. You don't have to touch backs, but turn back to back. While you're not looking at your partner, change 5 things about your appearance. Change 5 things about your appearance. 5 things. You can do it, Lucian. I have faith in you. There you go. That's smart. Okay, now turn around and look at your partner and try to figure out all 5 things.
Well, shoe off. One suspender undone, and all the pants and stuff out of your pocket.
Really?
That's
With all hair. Shoulder.
Yes.
I can't tell the other one.
I can't tell if we shoot.
Necklace? All right.
Oh.
I mean, it's okay to be casual with them a little bit, but they want to know that you're professional. They want to know that you take this seriously. You guys are taking time out of your Friday. Some of you guys paid money to be here. Some of you guys, all of you guys are using your time to be here. If I don't take this seriously, that's going to tick you off, and you're going to walk out the doors, and you're not coming back to anything else I teach. Okay? Be professional. Take it seriously. Know some of the people. You know, don't be one of those speakers that's just too good to talk to anybody. I'll see you later. Don't do that. You have to be willing to talk to people, know people, call them by name during the lesson, and know your stuff. Because teenagers will buy anything that you're selling. Adults, not so much. Adults will call you on it if you don't know what you're talking about. At the beginning, we did an activity before some people were here, where we asked what you did. So I found out some things that might have been important to you as people. You know, I found out some of you guys are nice people, and some of you guys used to own computer stores or own computers. That's fancy stuff. But that's stuff that I wouldn't have known if I hadn't done an activity like that. So find a way to know your people. You guys have life experiences, much, much more than a teenager. I would say that by the time you're out of high school, for a year, you have more life experience in that year than you had in the entire 4 years of high school. You have so much that you've learned just because you're out of high school. And so because of that, you're an expert in something. You know something. And I can respect that, and I can use that as part of my lesson, and I can use that as a way to learn from you in the future, or even during my lesson. We can teach each other things. Adults will automatically take notes sometimes, so if you have skeleton notes, those are not a bad idea for adults. Or to let them know ahead of time. Wouldn't it have been awful if you'd been sitting here writing everything, and then I said, oh, here's a copy. So if you have a handout, let them know that you have a copy for them later. These are fun people. So I've had these as a teacher, question askers. There are people that are not going to stop ask questions no matter what. Okay, these handy dandy note cards, I said at the beginning, if you have a question, write it down so you don't forget it. That's important for a question asker. They're afraid they're going to forget the question. So write that down, don't forget it, ask me when it's time. And if you deal with that ahead of time, you won't have to deal with it the entire time you're teaching a lesson. You're going to have a talker, either somebody sitting over to the side talking about their own conversations, or somebody who wants to keep talking to you throughout the lesson. And that's frustrating either way. It can be distracting. So find a way to shut them up. Either you can do a group activity that forces them to move to the other side of the room from whoever they were talking to. You can strangle them, as Chris is suggesting with his body language. Or you can, I don't want to say ignore them when they're talking to you, but find a way to use them in the lesson in a positive way so that it just kind of curbs them from wanting to talk to you all the time. Teacher's pet. These are fun people. Don't be that person. You're better than that. Teacher's pet goes up to you and wants to talk to you the entire time. Before you have the lesson, after you have the lesson, during the breaks, during the activities. They want to give you a play-by-play of everything they changed about their appearance before they turn around to look at the other person. They want you to know everything. No, do not let them monopolize your time. The best I can tell you about a teacher's pet is to recognize the person and then try to spend time with other people. That's the best I can do. You're going to have somebody who either knows it all or thinks they do. And they're going to correct you or ask you questions about stuff that they think might be over your head just to throw you off. If they do that, just say, I'd like to talk to you about that after the class. That's not what the class is about. Even if they're asking you, if it's an HTML class and they're asking you about SQL or PHP or let me throw around some other letters that I don't know. If they ask you about something else that's not related to the class, tell them that you're interested later. Don't let it monopolize the class. Other people are here. Other people are using their time. So don't waste other people's time helping out that person with something they're just trying to mess you up with. You will have learners that learn on a different pace than other people. You will have somebody who, even though you're teaching them HTML, will have a full-blown PHP website by the end of class. You will have somebody who doesn't even know how to turn the computer on. Those are big extremes to have in one class. So try your best to give the fast learners something else to do while you help the slow learners catch up. Give the slow learners extra notes. Give them their handout ahead of time so that they don't have to, panic about stuff. Panic of whether or not they're going to have something written down. Do whatever you can to help them without singling them out. And then you're going to have the kid who's too shy to answer your questions, too shy to ask questions. And you just have to realize that the kid is sitting back there, and don't cast them out of your class. Don't cast them out of the group just because they're afraid or just because they're too shy to talk to you. They're still there. They're still learning. So make sure that you take time with that student as well. Okay, number theory. It's not as complicated as it sounds. What I want you to do is I want you to think about your first name. Everybody think about their first name. Count the letters in your first name. Your entire first name. Christopher. Okay, you can use the short one. And turn to your partner next to you and tell them that many things that you learned tonight that you didn't already know. Okay, so something like that can appeal, like an activity like that can appeal to social learners who need to discuss what they've learned. Remember that you have to plan carefully. You have to practice your lesson ahead of time. You have to capture their attention and keep their attention. If you talk monotone, it's boring. Tell a story. Keep moving, whether you're physically moving like me, or whether you're moving in the lesson. Keep moving. Make your point. Check for understanding. Teach the students you have and not which ones? The students you wish you had. Exit gracefully. Stop when you're finished.